Hi, and welcome to Distance with Wax Buffalo. I'm Alicia. Today, we are chatting with my friend Jillian of the Anastasia company out of Omaha, Nebraska. She is a blogger, a photographer, a designer. She's a really beautiful soul, and I think you're going to love not only the company that she's built, but the intention behind why she's built it. She has a beautiful story, and I am so excited to spend a little bit of today with her. Hi, Jillian.
Hey, Alicia.
So Anastasia is your middle name.
Correct.
Jillian is your first name. Do a lot of people?
Which I get called Anastasia all the time. I will respond to that. It is one of my names. So if someone says Anastasia, I'm not going to give you a weird look or something.
Great. I love it.
Also, sometimes people think it's pronounced Anastasia, which is way fancier than I am. But
I like when the people make you fancier. You're like, I'll take it. Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's my other persona.
And your entire business basically started from a really beautiful blog, right? Give me a little bit of the origin of how the Anastasia.
Yeah, so I started, it actually started as JillianAnastasia.com because I thought it was so cool how my first name and last name overlapped with the AN.
It is.
No. It's, you got to start somewhere. I wouldn't have the name that I have now if I hadn't started with the wrong one. But so I started a lifestyle blog. I was working as a marketing specialist at a local home decor company. So they sent me to a WordPress boot camp for my position because my job was to create relationships with bloggers. So that was when influencer marketing was brand new. No one, was doing it at that time. So I'd reach out to these bloggers and say, hey, we would love to send you free product to redecorate your room in exchange for content. And so they sent me to this WordPress boot camp. And for that boot camp, I had to create my own blog. And I just fell in love with the world of blogging because it was a way to practice photography, writing, graphic design. I could teach myself some code, just all of my things that I loved in one place. I was a PR advertising major. From that blog, I was kind of just creating things that I saw everybody else doing. I was doing recipes and DIY projects, and that stuff still lives on my blog. A lot of it's gone viral, and it's still how, some people find me, which is cool that work that I put in 5 years ago is still bringing traffic today. So I wanted a way to monetize the blog without running a bunch of spammy ads. Because when I was looking at people's websites, there was ads just plastered everywhere. And so I decided to create an Etsy shop. And so I created some digital art prints. They were not good. But again, you got to start somewhere. At that same time that I did that was when junk stock was a brand new thing. And it was just a dreamland for me. I absolutely loved it. Vintage, the vintage style was also just hot. That was when it was kind of coming on the scene. And so I was like, well, what if I set up as a vendor here? It was just kind of one of those crazy ideas. It's like, well, what if I did this? And so I always thank Sarah still to this day for taking a chance on me because I had never done a show before. I didn't even have a product line. I created some mock-up products to submit with my application. I set up a display in my living room. It was a vintage suitcase with a couple cards on a little clothesline, and sent it in and got accepted and had no idea what I was doing, but set up. And, that first junk stock really just is what lit the fire, and it just snowballed from there. So every junk stock I would create some new products, and then people would ask oh, can you create a custom this for me? And
well, we met at junk stock.
We did. Yes, we were neighbors. That's how we know each other.
Yes. I had just started my business, and you were I think you had done junk stock the year before.
I was still pretty new. I feel like we were on this kind of same timeline. This is so cool.
Yeah. Your mom was setting up with you, and my parents were setting up, and then we were just can we please be friends for life? I just also remember.
You have a cool hand-lettered sign. I still remember it.
Yes. Oh yeah, my friend Piper did that. The big sign that was hanging in the back. That remember everything got soaking wet that year. There was that torrential rain, and oh my gosh! But it was junk stock's such a fun time because you're squished next to somebody. I remember being very scared, and I remember you being it's going to be fine. You were you'll see, the people will come. It's okay.
The people always come. Nothing can stop junk stock. We've had floods. We've had pandemics.
No, I think there's been snowstorms.
Literally anything could be happening in the world and people will still come. It's an amazing community.
I totally agree. And I love just the market world is so beautiful in the way that it, like you just said, like introduces new people, even like helps you understand what people will fall in love with within your products. But then even the way I think that like we all bond together, like schlepping our stuff in, sweating, covering each other's booths while somebody goes in peas, like you become very close.
So much hard work that people don't always realize. Like, I mean, if I broke down like how much I make per hour, it's probably pennies, but that's okay.
Yes.
I don't even want to know.
Right. Right. That's so cool though. And I love the origin that it was just like such a slow growth for you too. Like that you.
I feel like slow growth has been my thing because, I haven't tried to be like, an overnight 0 to 60. It's like you figure it out as you go, and it's good. It makes it so much more sustainable.
What do you think some of your biggest growth points have been? Like, because aren't you in like over 150 retail?
I was just thinking about today, I need to count. I want to say we're at 250. I'm not sure, but that would be my estimate as of right now. Every junk stock or every event that I did I feel like it would kind of boost me to like the next level. And then wholesale has been huge. And so I've met a lot of those wholesale accounts, like those shop owners at markets and things like that, and online. The business was a thing on the side for about 4 years. And then when I took the leap from corporate marketing to go full time, it was the scariest thing that I've ever done. But looking back now, I'm like, why was I so scared? This is great. I mean, it's still kind of scary, but I had to change my mindset of what success is. Because up until then, success was a paycheck every 2 weeks. You know exactly how much it's going to be. In entrepreneur world, you don't know what your paycheck is going to be, and it's not ever guaranteed, which that was the thing that held me back so much. And so once I broke out of that mindset and came to peace with the fact that some months are going to be better than other months, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. That's just reality. And so I would say going full time was the biggest point of growth, just because I could give my full self to something where my attention wasn't divided in 7 different places. So
I totally agree. I mean, we have a similar story. I mean, like I also worked in marketing for 4 years before I jump in.
We're twins.
Yes. I think it's why we love each other so much. We like get each other's hearts.
We do.
Yeah. But I agree. And I think like the one thing that I did not expect to be kind of cool is like when you are getting a biweekly paycheck, whatever, like that is what you are in. Where like in entrepreneur world, there'll be like something that will come up where you'll be like, well, we need a little more money to make this work. And you're like, well, I could run a marketing campaign, or I could throw some postcards down, or I could do a few things on Instagram and run a sale. And all of a sudden you filled that void.
Yes.
The thing I was the most scared of was not being in control of the money. And what I realized is like, you actually can force it and control it differently, almost better.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no limit. So it's like when I was, had my marketing job, which I loved it.
I loved mine too.
But it was no matter how hard I worked, I was going to get the same paycheck and maybe get, a 1 or 2% raise at the end of the year, and then taxes get taken out, and it's like, okay, cool, got an extra couple $100. But in entrepreneur world, you can do anything. You can make any amount of money that you want. You just have to figure out how.
Yes. You have to be creative, and you have to like hustle your buns, but then you also see the benefits of the hustle, I think, differently.
Yes, it's so much more fulfilling too.
It's a good way to say it. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And you also talk a lot about like, what I love about your brand is you talk a lot about intentional living, but I feel like you also like spin it in a really beautiful way, your own personal way. So we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So where that really stemmed from, for a long time, I was kind of just creating products, like, because I thought they were cute. Like, oh, people will like this. This is cute. This makes me happy. But I realized last year I was kind of missing like a story behind. I was like, I'm doing this for a reason. What is that reason? Like, there's a common thread between all of these things, and I need to figure out how to verbalize that and create a message around it. Like, it was there. I just didn't know how to put words to it. I didn't know how to articulate it. So I took, it was actually a course by Jordan Lee Dooley. Okay. That really helped you through that process of figuring out your why, basically, and your messaging. And at that time, I realized, so my stepdad, he was a very, very healthy, active guy. He had 8 brain surgeries He had a brain aneurysm, and seeing someone you love that sick he was sick for about a year, and then he passed last June. That whole process just put everything in life into perspective in like a really permanent way. At one point he lost his ability to walk, talk, eat. It was a nightmare. And I just realized how much I take for granted without even thinking about it. Like the ability to right now communicate, being able to tell someone how you're feeling, like so many little things we get worked up about that it's just in the big scheme of things, like it's not worth it. And so, and it really just drove home that we have such a limited amount of time here. We get so wrapped up in all these distractions and things going on. And it's like, time is your currency. Is this really how you want to spend your time? And so that's where the whole being intentional thing came from. And it had so much more meaning behind it. And it's why I do anything that I do now. So
I knew the story of your stepdad, obviously, but I don't think that I realized how much it instigated the change in your own business and made it so much more personal and beautiful.
Oh yeah.
That's I'm so sorry. He was a really, really cool human.
You know? Did you meet him at Junkstack? I can't remember. Okay.
Yes. And then I think when we were doing remember the local collective, it was when the decline had started. And I remember that's how we all get to know everybody's story, right? We just talk between customers and it's
totally.
Yeah. Which I think transitions into why I was so excited to put some things of yours on a candle. The one we chose is
it looks so good.
The World Needs What You Got. It's this cute little white vessel. I love all of your color palettes, but I specifically love like the way that everything you make makes me feel. Like you even have I think you have a print that's like I wrote it down. What is it? Oh, with God, nothing shall be impossible. And so my grandpa wrote a song back in the day that was called Nothing is Impossible. And it was like back when like cantatas were like missionary cantatas were like really huge. And it was like it traveled the whole world. And like I saw your little print and burst into tears. And I was like, well, now I know what I'm getting everybody for Christmas in my family. Don't tell them. But just like everything you create, I think makes you feel stronger or more confident in your day, or even just like gives you a little bit of like nourishment and love. And that's what I'm hoping this candle, burn this little candle and remember that the world needs what you got, whatever that is today. Yeah.
I try to create like soul food.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good way. How do you get your inspiration? I mean, where does your inspiration come from with
well, the Bible is it's always a good foundation for me. And then it's just either I'll think of something or I'll see something and it just like, I get this feeling inside. I don't know how to explain it, but like I get like a burst or like just like a yes feeling. Cause it has to, everything I create like makes me feel something. So if it makes me feel something, I feel like it will impact other people as well. Cause there's a lot of cliches. And so I try to stay away from things that are just like, yeah, that's everywhere or things like that. So I just feel like a little spark when I read it. I'm like, oh yes, got to do that.
I've got to make something out of this. That's really cool. I actually really love that. And I think you're totally right because I feel like people really love your brand because they love you. So if you love something, we're going to love it, which is exciting. Okay. So I'm starting your wax here. I know you love sweet tobacco. So
I think I have a sweet tobacco in almost every room of my home.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
In the dining room and the kitchen, have it in my office over here and my bedroom. I think bathroom too.
It's like you're like home set. That's great. That means that I'm integrated into your life forever. You'll always be like, oh, I need one. That's good.
I love it so much.
Well, okay, so knowing that, and then also knowing you talked a little bit about loving eucalyptus, which I also love. I diffuse it a lot. So I kind of broke down sweet tobacco and the elements that I think would match really well with eucalyptus, which is like, I think what gives it its life is there's some tonka in there, which is that kind of earthy, right? Vanilla, but it's like a type of vanilla that's not like sweet and synthetic. It's more just like a true kind of natural vanilla. And then a little bit of honey. And so then I think we mix those with eucalyptus and it's going to give it like this kind of warm, piney, tobacco-y, almost like, I was like, I hope it feels like you're smoking a pipe while like walking through the redwoods or something, right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. So that's what we're going to do. So I've got a little bit of that. I pre-mixed your kind of that vanilla honey tonka, and then I've got eucalyptus. I have so many eucalyptus. I have the one from Whole Foods. I found this one. I found this little tiny one. I don't even know what this one means. My friend Jen knows about essential oils, and I don't. As far as like the nuances of some of them, but this one has like a little bit of like citrus to it. So I thought I'd see vanilla and citrus.
That'd be perfect. I cannot wait to smell that.
I think it's going to be fun. And then we'll have to give it a beautiful name. Then everyone can be inspired all winter by your beautiful text on the candle. Speaking of the season coming up, you also have some really fun things happening, right?
I do.
Talk about that a little bit.
So I had the surprise of a lifetime in August where my boyfriend proposed. To say I had no idea it was coming is an understatement.
I love it.
I really had no idea. Like, we knew we wanted to get married, like we've talked about it, but we had never talked about timing. And so I thought it would be another year at least, because he cannot keep a secret for anything. Like, he calls me if he's buying laundry detergent, for peak's sake. Like,
oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah, he like tells me everything. And so I thought I would know when he was like thinking about it, because he would have dropped like little things, you know, here and there. Nothing. It was always like, oh, in 5 years when we're married, you know, stuff like that. When he proposed, my jaw just to the floor. And I just kept saying, what? What? I don't even know. I think I said yes. After saying what, like 7 times, I couldn't believe how he surprised me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Good job him then. Especially like knowing his personality is like to give it away. That's awesome.
Well, yes. It was the surprise proposal. He did it through a photo shoot that made me think it was my idea. Like, I asked him, oh, hey, my friend Madison wants to take some photos of us. Like, he made it seem like the whole thing was my idea. He also hates photos, so he used that as a weapon to, you know, not give me any clues. So that happened. And then he had all of our families waiting after. So we were supposed to go take doc pictures. Yeah. And then we pull into like the side parking lot at Zurinsky. And I was like, is this the right spot? And I'm still trying to process what just happened. I was not thinking about what was ahead. I was just so in that moment. And then we pull up and like all of our family was there. And that's when I just burst into tears. I just couldn't believe it. How they all knew that this was happening. And then he flew my best friend in from Texas.
Oh my!
So it was just like three mind-blowing event. Like, my mind just exploded.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then are you having to like, are you planning a wedding during all of this? Or are you guys pushing?
Yeah. So May 28th is our date.
Yeah.
And so we've got the venue, the photographer, the videographer, the dress. We got all the big things done. So now it's just a matter of filling in the little details and the fun.
I love it.
Stuff,
I was reading something on your Instagram, I think, where you were talking about like, okay, now that I'm doing this, I'm starting to understand like how I can support brides differently. I thought that was so huge. Like, it cracks me up because you have such a great brain to be like, oh, now that I've thought through this, like this is another like avenue that I can like invest in.
So I've done wedding stationery on the side for a while now. I don't have a great web presence for it. It's always something that I was like, oh, I need to do that. But I take a limited number of clients every year because it's not like my main thing, but it's something that I love and something that I do want to grow and focus on more. So it's kind of something that's like happens behind the scenes a lot. Like, I have a really nice process for people.
That's cool.
And I love doing it. And so, but being on this end, it gave me that like perspective that I needed of how people are feeling when they're in this position and how important it is to respond quickly. Things like that. I honestly thought that, you know, like, especially like venues and everything, I thought that they would have like a really smooth, like streamlined process when someone submits like an inquiry. That's not the case. And I was like,
And it's like, it makes you panic. Like, am I not going to get it? Do I need to do? So that is like a good point.
Yeah. So I've learned all kinds of new things and I'm excited to.
Well, I'm excited for you. Congratulations. It's a big year. It's exciting. Okay.
Yeah. That's part of 2020.
Yes. We need all the good news in 2020, right?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Woo!
So pretty. Oh, it's so perfect. It smells really good. Jillian, I think you're going to like this a lot.
I'm excited about the honey in there too, because I'm on a big honey kick lately.
You are? Oh, good.
I love, my favorite thing to do at the end of the night is have hot honey lemon water.
Really?
It's so soothing, especially like, after a long day, you're like all the tension in the world and like all the things I'm working on, just when your brain's like in so many different places. I just hot water, honey. I got some local honey it's like lavender honey. It is so good. And then fresh lemon juice.
That's super smart. Oh, I'm gonna try it.
So good. I sleep
it.
so much better I had it last night and slept like a rock.
Okay, I'm definitely trying it. I do like lemon water in the morning. I do like a big glass of warm water with lemon in it before my coffee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I've never even thought to do it at night, so I'll try it.
Oh yeah, it's so soothing.
All right, here's our beautiful candle.
I love it. Oh, it looks so good.
Jillian, how can people support you now? What are ways how can they shop you? How can they find you?
So online, of course, at shop.theanastasiaco.com, on Instagram at theanastasiaco, and we'll be at Wax Buffalo on November 14th for Lincoln. And then if you're in Omaha, I have Millard West on November 7th, and then Millard South on November 28th. So that's what our calendar looks like for the rest of the year as of right now, along with some online virtual markets. So I would say the best place to go is the website to see everything that's going on.
Oh, we can find all those dates on your website and then track you down. Okay, perfect. Oh, girl, thank you for doing this with me today.
Thank you so much. It went by so fast.
I know. I feel like we could talk for another 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
Not on the 14th.
Yes.
Customers. I'll just sit on a stool next to you. And
I'm excited. It's going to be great.
It is. It totally is. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for popping on with us today and spending a little time with me and my friend Jillian. And of course, go and support her. Follow her on everything. You will not regret it. And then these candles will be up tonight for sale as always. And the proceeds will go to the Lincoln Food Bank. Thanks so much for spending a little time with us. I'll see you soon. Bye.